What an Oliver twist. BBC turns around and makes a damaging report against our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu after days of singing awesome praises in support of him, alleging that Tinubu at no point forged his CSU certificate. A pro-democracy group, the National Democratic Coalition, has faulted Wednesday's British Broadcasting Corporation report on the Chicago State University academic records of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, saying that the move was an attempt to perpetuate colonialism in Nigeria. This was as it observed that the BBC was fast losing its ethical and journalism pedigree in its apparent attempt to launder the image of our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, saying it was shocking that the British media outfit has chosen to engage in this image laundering project despite irrefutable evidence pointing to the authenticity of the allegations. Now, the executive director of the group in the USA, in the person of Lloyd Ukwu, said this in a statement on Wednesday night, that the BBC disinformation team had on Wednesday reported that there was no evidence that the Chicago State University's academic certificate of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission for the 2023 presidential election was forged. But Nadeko in the statement said, in a world where integrity and honesty are increasingly becoming rare commodities, it is our solemn duty to shed light on deceit and manipulations, even when it is executed by influential figures. Today, we stand resolute against the latest reckless display of disinformation by the British Broadcasting Corporation in its apparent hired attempt to launder the tattered image of our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In recent times, we have witnessed a relentless campaign to salvage the image of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which has been badly tarnished by the CSU certificate forgery saga. The latest effort in this image laundering project comes from none other than the BBC disinformation team. It is disheartening to see an organization that has long been trusted by the public to engage in such biased and mischievous reportings. What astonishes us is not the attempt to whitewash President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's image, as he recently hired another team of media aides for this very purpose, but the BBC's motive and consideration for this hatchet job. On one level, what also baffles us is the BBC's blatant disregard for facts that are already in the public domain. The CSU's registrar, under oath, unequivocally has stated that the certificate submitted by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to INEC was not issued by the university and that it was not legitimate, strongly suggesting forgery. Yet the BBC has also chosen to spin its version of the story to deceive the discerning Nigerian public. Again, it is also not surprising that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, recognizing the damage to his reputation due to the Chicago State University certificate forgery saga, has recently employed a fresh team of media aides to rehabilitate his public image. On another level, why it is truly shocking, however, it is The extent to which the BBC has chosen to engage in this image laundering project, despite irrefutable evidence pointing to the authenticity of the allegation. Now, could it be that what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's money cannot buy does not exist, or that the old colonial mouthpiece is at work? If the CSU's registrar under oath unequivocally affirmed that the certificate submitted by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to INEC is not from their institution, signifying the unequivocal act of forgery, so what would the BBC call that? Astonishingly, the BBC chose to disseminate its version of the story specifically designed to deceive the enlightened Nigerian public. Documents obtained from the CSU further reveal a litany of irregularities and paint a clear picture of deception. Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not meet the required admission criteria and he was asked to retake exams. This is what the interview is saying, that his admission document listed his gender as female. He also used another individual's female social security number. Also, that the document he submitted claims to be from a school established in 1970, whereas the school was founded in 1974. It also added, in question, what is truly confounding and perplexes about the Nadeco USA, which is that the BBC's apparent failure to fact-check these glaring discrepancies before presenting its report to the Nigerian people, thus knowingly and maliciously doing a disservice to journalism and to the very people they are meant to inform. Furthermore, the BBC has also shown a marked reluctance to investigate whether President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was involved in a drug case in the United States or whether he manipulated the general election in Nigeria with his cohorts. While the world expects impartial investigation and investigative journalism from the BBC, this is Nadako saying, it appears that they are more inclined to twist what is already known. They also further stated that the BBC's selective reporting further tarnishes its already fading credibility and the trust of the Nigerian people who already know the truth. The British Broadcasting Corporation is gradually losing relevance and trust among the Nigerian people and the world at large, who seek truth and integrity in reporting. The suffering of the Nigerian masses cannot tolerate the nuisance of a British colonial mouthpiece or the colonial arrogance displayed in the form of such unverified and misleading stories. The Nadako group also stated and strongly condemns the BBC's media report, which can only be characterized as a reckless disregard for the truth and a disservice to the Nigerian masses. They also call on the BBC to cease such practices henceforth. The camps of the People's Democratic Party standard bearer Atiku Abubakar and the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi have protested the BBC report that there is no evidence to back the diploma forgery allegations against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.